The day I jokingly called my best friend my wife at a crowded Sunday farmer's market, I never imagined those words would change the course of my life forever. I expected her to laugh, roll her eyes, and remind me that we had been saying ridiculous things to each other for years. Instead, she stopped walking, looked at me with a smile that I had somehow never truly seen before, and quietly asked the one question that made my heart nearly stop beating. What's stopping us? Before we begin this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps our community continue sharing stories that remind us that love often arrives when we least expect it. Some people spend their entire lives searching for their soulmate. Others are lucky enough to meet that person early in life and simply fail to recognize them. I was one of those people. My name is Rowan Carter, and for almost 15 years, my best friend had been the most important person in my life. Her name was Celeste Monroe. We met during our first year of university when we accidentally sat beside each other during an orientation event neither of us wanted to attend. We bonded over our shared sarcasm, our terrible taste in cafeteria coffee, and our habit of laughing during serious moments. From that day forward, we became inseparable. Everyone assumed we were dating. Our professors thought we were a couple. Our classmates made jokes about us eventually getting married. Even complete strangers would ask how long we'd been together whenever they saw us grocery shopping or grabbing lunch. We always laughed and corrected them. We were just friends. Best friends. Life moved quickly after graduation. Celeste became an elementary school art teacher while I built my career as an architect. We celebrated promotions together, helped each other move into new apartments, and supported one another through heartbreak and disappointment. When Celeste's engagement ended 3 months before her wedding, I spent countless afternoons helping her pack boxes and reminding her that she deserved someone who truly appreciated her kind heart. When my own relationship collapsed because my girlfriend believed I cared more about my career than our future, Celeste sat beside me in the park on a sunny Saturday afternoon and listened without judgment for hours. We were each other's emergency contact forms. We knew each other's coffee orders, childhood fears, favorite books, and secret dreams. We spent every major holiday with each other's families. My mother loved Celeste as though she were her own daughter, and her father often introduced me as the son he never had. Yet somehow, despite all of that, neither of us ever considered that perhaps everyone else had been right all along. Or perhaps we were simply too afraid to risk losing the friendship that had become the foundation of our lives. Over the years, we developed countless traditions together. Saturday morning farmers' markets became one of our favorites. We would spend hours wandering through flower stalls, sampling fresh bread, and debating which local bakery made the best cinnamon rolls. On one beautiful spring morning, the market was filled with sunshine and laughter. Celeste wore a soft blue sweater and carried a bouquet of wildflowers she had impulsively purchased because they reminded her of a painting she'd once loved as a child. We had been laughing about something ridiculous when an elderly vendor smiled warmly at us and asked how long we'd been married. Without thinking, I laughed and said that we weren't married, but Celeste was practically my wife anyway. We already spent more time together than most married couples. Everyone around us chuckled at my joke. Celeste smiled in a way I couldn't quite understand at first. Then she tilted her head slightly and asked the question that would change everything. What's stopping us? The world didn't stop spinning dramatically. There wasn't some cinematic musical score playing in the background. There was simply silence. For the first time in 15 years, I truly looked at her. I saw the woman who always remembered my birthday before anyone else. The woman who sat beside my hospital bed when I broke my wrist skiing. The woman who celebrated every success as though it were her own and comforted me through every failure without hesitation. And suddenly, I realized that I didn't know the answer. What was stopping us? Fear. Fear that romance might ruin what friendship had built. Fear that if we failed, we would lose everything. Fear that we had missed our chance years ago and that acknowledging our feelings now might somehow feel foolish. We spent the rest of that afternoon sitting on a park bench, talking more honestly than we ever had before. We admitted things we had never spoken aloud. Celeste confessed that she had wondered several times throughout our friendship whether we belonged together but had convinced herself I didn't see her that way. I admitted that every relationship I'd ever had felt incomplete because I subconsciously compared everyone else to her. Neither of us had intentionally hidden our feelings. We had simply become comfortable living inside the safety of friendship. Over the following weeks, we agreed not to rush into anything. Instead, we decided to honestly explore the possibility of something more. At first, it felt strange. Holding her hand while walking through town somehow made me more nervous than giving professional presentations to hundreds of people. Our first official date felt both exciting and hilariously unnecessary since we had already shared thousands of meals together over 15 years. Yet everything also felt remarkably natural. I learned that friendship doesn't disappear when love arrives. If anything, love simply becomes deeper and more meaningful when friendship already exists. Not everyone supported our decision. Some mutual friends questioned whether we were making a mistake. One person warned us that if our relationship failed, we would lose the most important friendship of our lives. Even members of our families worried that changing something so precious could end painfully. Those fears affected us more than we wanted to admit. Several months into our relationship, we faced our first real conflict. The pressure of everyone's expectations began creating anxiety between us. We overthought simple disagreements and treated every misunderstanding as though it might become catastrophic. One afternoon, after a minor argument about future plans, I found myself wondering whether everyone else had been right. Had we been selfish for risking our friendship? Celeste sensed my hesitation immediately. After knowing someone for 15 years, hiding emotions becomes nearly impossible. Rather than becoming angry, she shared something that forever changed my understanding of love. She explained that she wasn't afraid of loving me. She was afraid of spending the rest of her life wondering what might have happened if we had continued allowing fear to make our decisions. She reminded me that friendship was never something fragile we needed to protect from love. Friendship was the very reason our relationship had become possible. That conversation forced me to confront something I had struggled with for most of my adult life. I often believed that playing it safe was the same thing as making wise decisions. I avoided risks because disappointment frightened me more than regret. Celeste taught me that regret lasts far longer than disappointment. Months passed, and our relationship continued growing stronger. We learned that romantic love isn't simply about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes, it's about making coffee exactly the way someone likes it after a difficult day. Sometimes, it's about sitting quietly beside the person you love while reading separate books on a sunny afternoon. One unexpected turning point came during a community charity event at Celeste's school. Watching her interact with her students reminded me once again why I had admired her for so many years. She had this extraordinary ability to make people feel valued and understood. A little girl approached me during the event and innocently asked whether I was Celeste's husband. Before I could answer, she smiled and told me that Celeste talked about me all the time and that I must be very lucky because her teacher had the kindest heart in the entire world. Children have a remarkable way of simplifying complicated truths. I realized that despite spending 15 years searching for extraordinary moments, the most extraordinary thing that had ever happened to me was simply finding someone who loved me consistently through every version of myself. One sunny autumn afternoon, nearly a year after our conversation at the farmer's market, I brought Celeste back to the very same bench where we had first discussed the possibility of becoming something more. The wildflowers were blooming once again, and the market buzzed with laughter in the distance. I told her that for years I had believed soulmates were people who dramatically entered your life and changed everything overnight. I had been wrong. Sometimes soulmates quietly remain beside you for 15 years, patiently waiting for you to realize that home isn't a place. It's a person. I asked her to marry me that afternoon. She cried before I even finished speaking. Our wedding took place during a beautiful spring afternoon surrounded by family and friends who had spent years secretly waiting for us to figure things out. There were countless jokes about how everyone else had known before we did. My mother confessed that she had saved photographs of us throughout the years because she had always believed this day would come. Celeste's father proudly told everyone that he finally got exactly what he wanted all along, a son. Looking back now, I realize that love doesn't always arrive dramatically. Sometimes, it grows quietly through years of friendship, patience, and shared experiences. Sometimes, the greatest love story of your life begins with a simple question that forces you to confront your fears. What's stopping us? If you've ever been afraid to pursue happiness because of uncertainty or fear of change, I hope our story reminds you that some risks are worth taking. Life is too short to allow fear to decide your future. Before we reach the end of this story, I would love to hear from you. Have you ever realized that someone important was standing beside you all along? Or have you ever allowed fear to stop you from pursuing something beautiful? Please leave a meaningful comment below and share the lesson this story reminded you of. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. The greatest mistake we nearly made wasn't risking our friendship. It was believing that love and friendship could never become one extraordinary thing. Sometimes, the person you've been waiting for has been walking beside you all along, patiently waiting for you to finally ask yourself one simple question. What's stopping us? And sometimes, the only thing standing between friendship and forever is the courage to answer it honestly.